here with Abraham, it's just a polite gesture. They didn't really mean he can have any burial place he wants. This is just how they would negotiate. So then verse 7, Abraham stood up and he bowed himself to the people of the land, the sons of Heth, the Hittites. I want you to notice that Abraham showed humility and respect to them. He wasn't rude. He wasn't obnoxious. We should be humble and respectful in our dealings with people, especially with non-believers, and especially in business. He didn't have like he didn't put on his business face where he's like this mean jerk in a business negotiation. No, he was humble. He was respectful. He bows. And he spoke with them, saying, "If it is your wish that I bury my dead out of my sight, hear me, and meet with Ephron the son of Zohar for me." Verse 9, "that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he has, which is at the end of his field. Let him give it to me at the full price. I'll pay full price for it, as property for a burial place among you." Abraham asked for a cave. There's this one particular cave. He knows it belongs to Ephron. He knows exactly where it is, the cave of Machpelah. And he asked for this one cave for a family sepulcher. They would bury family members together in the ancient world. And it was common to bury the dead in caves. And Abraham, as I said, he was willing to pay full price for the cave. He doesn't want it as a gift. He wants to buy the cave of Machpelah. Machpelah, the word means double cave, and so there's actually two caves, two openings inside this cave. Today, Machpelah is the second most holy site to the Jewish people, and second only to the Temple Mount. And today there is a large structure that was built by Herod the Great over the cave as a monument over the cave. And today it's actually a mosque. The Muslims control it today. In the cave of Machpelah, as we're going to see as we move through the book of Genesis, not only is Sarah buried in that cave, but so are Abraham, Isaac, Rebekah, Jacob, and Leah. They're all buried in the cave of Machpelah. It's sometimes referred to as the cave of the patriarchs and matriarchs of the Hebrew people. And wouldn't it be awesome to excavate the cave of Machpelah, right? And to have archaeologists go in there and find the bones of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Rebekah, and Leah. Wow, that'd be cool. In chapter 50, when we get there, we're told that the body of Jacob was embalmed or preserved by the Egyptians. It was mummified. And so the mummy of Jacob is in that cave. So, if I ruled the world, we'd excavate Machpelah, but it's never going to happen. So we'll just have to wait to see those people in heaven. So, verse 10 says, "Now Ephron dwelt among the sons of Heth, and Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the presence of the sons of Heth, all who entered the gate of his city." We talked about the gates of cities before when we were talking earlier about Lot. This is taking place in the gate of the city. The gate of the city is where the leaders of the city, the elders, were stationed. It's where all legal matters were discussed and decided. So Abraham goes to the gate of the city to seek permission to buy this burial cave for his family. There's an audience there. It's out in the open, so anybody passing through that gate can listen to this conversation and the decision that's made. Verse 11, Ephron says, "No, my lord, hear me. I give you," notice what he says, "I give you the field and the cave that is in it. I give it to you in the presence of the sons of my people." In front of all these people here, I'm publicly giving it to you. Go bury your dead. Notice here, Abraham asked just for the cave. I just want the cave that's at the end of your field. That's all I want. It's just a cave to bury my wife. And Ephron says, "Oh no, I'll give you the field and the cave. I'll give it all to you." Now, why does he do this? Well, here's why he does that. Under Hittite law, you pay taxes on property, just like today. Nothing's new under the sun. But according to their law, if you sold a piece of your property or gave away a piece of your property, you still pay taxes on all of it, even the part that you sold. And so Ephron here says, I'm not going to just give you the cave, because I'll have to pay taxes still. You can have the land and all of it. If you're going to take the cave, you got to take the land, because I don't want to pay the taxes on it, right? People that, 2,600 years ago, however long, 3,600 years ago, they wanted to get out of paying taxes too. So he says, you know what I'll do? I'll give you the field and the cave. You can have it all, and I don't have to pay taxes on it anymore. So just go bury your dead. And again, he's doing this in front of everybody. Then Abraham bowed himself down before the people of the land again. Again, he's showing respect. He's an outsider. He's a foreigner. He's being respectful to their customs here. And he spoke to Ephron in the hearing of the people of the land. Again, they're in the city gate. All the crowd that's there passing through, they can all hear what's being said. And he said, if you will give it, please hear me. I will give you money for the field. I'll pay for it. I don't want you to give it to me as a gift. Take it from me, and I will bury my dead there. Abraham wants to purchase this cave so that he owns it, so that it belongs to him for his family and for future generations in his family, so that they can bury their dead there. He's not just asking for a handout here, but he wants to own that piece of property. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying to him, my Lord, now watch what he says here. Listen to me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver, but what is that between you and me? So just go bury your dead. Do you see what he does here? And the way he answers. Abraham says, I want to buy the land. And he says, hey, the land, it's worth 400 shekels of silver, but don't worry about it. You can just bury your dead. It's like he says, well, if I were to sell it to you, I probably would charge you 400 shekels of silver, hint, hint. But I'm not selling it to you. But if I did, this would probably be the price I would ask of you, 400 shekels of silver. But I'll just let you use it. Just go bury your dead. Now, 400 shekels of silver is not really the price. Again, this is a cultural thing here. This is how they would negotiate this. This is like total Bible nerd stuff that we're getting into now. So bear with me if you don't like that. What they would do, and again, it's still part of the culture, they would start out with an exorbitantly inflated price. And this is just how they negotiate it. The seller would first say, I won't charge you anything, you can just have it, it's nothing between us, just take it. Then the seller mentions a price that is just absurdly high. And then the buyer would name a price that's absurdly low. And then they would negotiate and arrive at a price. Now, how absurdly high is the price of 400 shekels of silver? Well, I'll give you some context. 2,600 years later, Jeremiah buys a field in Israel for 17 shekels of silver. That's 2,600 years later. And it's only 17 shekels of silver. Now, one commentary I read said this price that he quotes here, 400 shekels of silver, is at least 10 to 20 times the actual price of the land. Again, he's not serious. He's not really expecting Abraham to pay 400 shekels of silver. They just start out at this ridiculously high price, 10 to 20 times what the land is actually worth. Now, to put that into today's terms, the average house of a price in Howard County right now is about $450,000. So imagine if someone were selling a house worth $450,000, but they asked $4.5 million for the house. Ain't no way they're selling that house. Nobody's going to pay that much money. That's crazy. Well, that's kind of like Ephron's price here. He's intentionally inflated it 10 times what the property is worth, 20 times what the property is worth. He expects Abraham to counteroffer, and then the negotiation begins, and they negotiate down the price. This is just how they did things. But instead, look what happens. Instead of counteroffering, Abraham breaks with the custom, and he just pays the 400 shekels of silver. It's like he pays the $4.5 million on this property.